What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to Retro Card Chat Podcast. I am Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I'm joined today by two men that did not get up at 5:30 in the morning because their bulldog threw up on them. They are Joe Day and EP Eric Pahowick. How you doing, boys?
That actually, I saw it on Twitter. That same. Actually did happen to me this past week, except for the bulldog part. My dog threw up in the so 6 a.m. I'm up, mother, and you hear that noise. You hear the noise, and you're like, "What's happening? What's happening?" And just
now that didn't happen with me. Yeah. It was just like a baby spitting up, like. It just happened. There was no precursor, no advance warning. Just happened, and it was all over my left arm.
Did you wake up on impact, or did you wake up like shortly after impact?
On impact.
Okay.
Like literally as it happened, I jumped out of bed. Never got up quicker in my life. But yeah. Wow.
It's the worst.
That's how I started my day. So
she looked really upset about it though. She looked like she wasn't proud of herself. She looked like she was
post that picture on the video so everyone can see what
follow Mike on Twitter follow Mike
on Twitter, right?
So yeah, and then I followed that up this morning by firing a painter who was going to paint for me, so I had a really productive morning.
Wow.
Yeah, what a day. They can't all be like this, but wow, good job. Good job. Yeah,
I took a shower. I'm good.
I was shoveling some dog poop, so wow, that was great. Yep.
You don't even own a dog, so this story got really weird.
Oh, yes. Well, maybe all the new viewers that we might have here want to hear us talk about something a little different. And first, I want to take a second to give a huge shout out to the Sports Card Dad. He mentioned us in one of his videos this past week, and for some reason said nice things about us. I don't know why, but I'm glad he's enjoying our videos. And he sent a number of viewers over to check us out, and we really appreciate that.
Nice things about us, but man, throwing my boy Tom Savage under the bus. Hail to Pitt. Come on, man. Let my boy alone.
He knows what's up. So we're going to get started this week with one of our favorite ongoing topics, and that is, of course, Panini, our good friends at Panini. Last week, we talked a little bit about them giving out Panini points for redemption cards. Well, they made it official this week, actually, that anybody who has redemptions that are older than the end of 2017, they are going to replace with Panini points or with random autographs. I guess they give you until September 30th to choose if you want the Panini points, and if you don't, then they will replace it with another autograph of equal value, but the equal value is determined solely by, guess who? Panini. I mean, I don't know. They're doing it for the low and mid end, as they say, low and mid value redemptions. But again, they're the ones determining what is low and mid value, what is high value, what's worth what. And it's a fiasco. It's going to be we're just waiting for it to happen, right?
EP made the joke last week, but I'll tell you what, if PSA and Panini, well, Panini's probably going to go out of business, but if those two went out of business, we'd have to shut down the podcast because they're my favorite thing to complain about. They are the gift that keeps on giving the whole year. Yeah, I'd really like to know if Calvin Ridley is only worth 150 Panini points. Yes, I know he's suspended for the year. Yes, I know I get it. But if he's only worth 150 points, which is what Tom Savage cost me, I'm not sure I approve of whoever is determining these prices. It just, to me, it just seems like, well, it's worth what we have left, right? Yeah. We have James Morgan autographs left. So your Patrick Mahomes from 2017 is worth the James Morgan. I don't know. It wouldn't be that ridiculous, but I wouldn't put it past them for doing something pretty close to that bad.
GP.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit on it, Mike. Like, who's going to be the person determining this? Like, that's the big thing. Like it's going to be somebody that's worried about Panini are worried about, are actually going to look at the value of the players and like think about it that in those terms. And even then, like it's so subjective. Like who's going to like they're going to put together a chart? Like it's I don't, you know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah, it's going to be somebody looking around in their warehouse, seeing what they have left, and they're going to go, "Oh yeah, that redemption's worth this."
They're just
money,"
going to try
or
and
something.
match it up,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
They're
let's
just
be
gonna
real. They're
drawing
not
lines.
going to give you anything that they don't have some kind of extra supply of. Like they can't take the autographs away that they're not fulfilling a lot of them anyway. But if they're supposed to be sending another player out for a redemption card, they can't give those away. So it's going to be the leftover crap. Like what else could it be?
Did you get your Paul Heyman auto yet?
No, absolutely not.
So you're going to get
a lot
Bastion
of
Booger auto is my guess.
Well, that wouldn't be bad. I would be happy with that. Absolutely. I have a graded Bastion Booger card, but I digress. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about it's just a joke. It's a joke. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about that, but
they're phoning
we're going to continue to talk about Panini being a joke. And, I was watching some videos by Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics. And if you guys saw the situation where there was a Jonathan Kuminga card out of National Treasures, $4,000 a box. And the patch that was in it was obviously said from the last name Wiseman. It wasn't from Kuminga. And I saw he had another example in one of his videos about another National Treasures rookie patch autograph of Jalen Green that had one of their Hoops holiday sweater pieces in for the patch card on his rookie patch autograph. And they're taking a sweater that has no affiliation to the kid at all and throwing it on and saying, that's fine. There was another one. I think his name is Chris Duarte. He has a J and an A in the name patch on his card. Like, what in the hell are they doing? Like, why?
Well, I was gonna I kind of was gonna say more in the last point, but we're gonna kind of come to this. And my thinking is if their effort on this stuff right now is this, like how poor is the effort going to be on the points side of it? To me, it's like they've given up. I think we've kind of talked about that on text and stuff. But I mean, like if you got somebody like a James Wiseman, like the name for the patch on something complete that isn't James Wiseman, like how does that get through? And then to have other ones that got through, like it seems insane to me.
And to put it in a $4,000 a box product, like you're not throwing it in hoops or something, your lower end stuff.
Right.
This is supposed to be like the top end of what you're selling. Yeah. Like the normal collector isn't buying that box of cards from you. They can't afford to. So like you can't even check to make sure that you're doing it right in the best product you put out. You're not going to care about anything. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Yeah, the only people that can afford to rip that product are the ones that are paying $68,000 to go to their little Panini national party. I will say this though, this has been going on for years. It's just someone happened. They just happen to put the wrong jersey name that someone could pick up on. Oh, that actually says Wiseman. Guaranteed, they've been doing this for years. It just no one noticed the wrong letters before. Like, I have no faith that Panini has used the right jerseys for the right players, for the right teams, for the right league. I'm surprised it's not it doesn't say Mahomes across, that jersey card, to be honest. I mean, they keep sending this stuff out, keep charging through the roof. Mm-hmm. And I apologize to any of our listeners who are huge Panini fans, but you're part of the problem. You keep buying the crap. Mm-hmm. And they know they can get away with it because they know they can sell it for $4,000. If there's a box of National Treasures basketball, is someone not going to buy it now because of this news? No, of course not. They're going to buy it.
Buy it.
They are. because they're just so trained now to just, oh, Panini, it's a $4,000 product, so that means it must be good. And they go out and they buy it, and then they get stuff like this. And the next story will come out where it's, the autographs might not be real in this or whatever. And then all of a sudden people are saying, oh, it's fine, I'll still go out and buy the $4,000 product.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Can I have another?
Right. It's like the complaint we have about PSA where, oh, people just blindly go and send their cards to PSA because, that's what they're told they should do. That's the thing they need to do. Same thing with Panini. People go out and buy Panini products because, hey, that's what everyone else is doing, so I should probably do that too. Sadly, in some sports, there are no other options right now, but maybe take a stand and say, I think I'll buy a box of 1999 Topps Chrome football instead and just relive the retro days instead of buying this new crap.
Yeah,
this is all conjecture. Like, we're not on the showroom floor or anything like that. But how many people do you think saw that and said, "Hey, this isn't the wrong name"? Like in the actual plant, and through the process, like do you think that people were upset about it? Like, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think there are people just like, we just got to send it out? It is what it is.
I don't know. Like, do they have anybody checking? Like, kind of. I hope, but I hope there isn't. Right?
Well, yeah.
Like, you have to hope that there isn't anybody there. They're just printing them, trying to get them out, throw them in packs, not looking at anything. Because if somebody,
especially because they're so behind.
Yeah, like if it's somebody's job to check that stuff, they're really failing miserably at life. Like,
right.
It's really not a hard job, first of all, and you're really not doing a good job of it if you aren't seeing it. So I have to figure they're just printing it. They're not worrying about it, right?
And the quality control, not just with this, is horrendous across the board. Someone posted on Twitter this morning or last night, and they showed a rookie card from Prism, from NFL Prism, and literally the top border was not there. It was like this much bottom border and no top border. Brand new product. I'm sorry, there are miscuts, sure, back in 1984 Topps, not in 2022 for 2021 product. But still, I mean, the quality control, quality assurance of Panini, since we've gotten into the hobby, and I've looked back at some of the previous products, it doesn't look like it's that much better pre-COVID or anything like that either. So I don't know. It's gotten to the point where, and I think Rob from Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics mentioned, usually it's a devil is better, but in this case, I'll take Fanatics any day of the week. I don't blindly. I'll blindly take whatever Fanatics is going to throw at us. And
the print runs, like, we lived through a period where they printed a lot of cards, EP and I, especially, back in the junk wax era. And like I said, I tell people all the time, we didn't realize at the time that stuff was that overprinted. We're in that spot now, and there are a lot of collectors out there that aren't realizing how much they're printing. I'm not saying they're printing as much Prism as they did 1990 Donruss. No offense, EP, I know it's your favorite set, but they are printing way more of that than they ever did. And because it's a popular product, people that normally wouldn't get a chance to buy it at retail and stuff are able to find it, so they're buying it. So a lot more people are buying it, and they're not realizing how much more. Like, I don't remember last year Prism like dropping and being available multiple times through Target and Walmart and Fanatics. And it has been like week after week after week almost so far this year. And
Mike would know, he's bought it every week.
I have, and it hasn't been good any of that time, but it's available, and way more. I don't know what,
and they're going to do the same thing with Select.
There has to be, anything. They're not going to do it with their less popular products because the demand isn't there. But the higher end products, the stuff that people are used to being worth more money, like Select was never a retail product before until like last year, and now it's a big retail product. And they're going to print a ton of the popular sets. So just because 2 or 3 years ago Prism was up the highest set. Like, just I don't think, and I think too, they're throwing, the 8 million parallels in there to try to confuse people. Each different retail outlet I bought from has a different insert parallel in every pack. So they're making it look like, oh, well, we're not, but they're hiding ways to overprint it to try to keep people from realizing they're doing it, but they're still definitely doing it. And I'm just throwing this out there. I kind of feel like Panini is trying to take this hobby down with it on the way out. Like, I'm probably totally wrong, but I'm going to say there's a non-0% chance that they're just like, screw it. If we can't have the license, we're gonna make as much money as we can, and we don't care what's left over after we scorch the whole earth.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think they're intentionally doing that, but I think they don't care what the ramifications are. Like, I could see Topps being like, you know what, we lost football, but we're still going to make this great. 2015 is a really nice looking set of Topps Chrome. I could see, Topps knows the history of collecting. They know the history of some of these sets. So I think they took care of it as they were leaving, where Panini's like, scorched earth, we're selling whatever we can. We don't care what the ramifications are. I don't know if there's any predetermined, let's take this MFer down with us. But I think there is definitely we don't care what happens after we're gone. So we're just going to do whatever we can now when we have these licenses and just really, really churn out this product that's crap.
Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe at least some of the buyers are not buying into it. I feel like that the buzz isn't there quite as bad as it was. I remember last year, pretty sure it was last year, when NBA Prism dropped. Like, I actually went to Target. I was going to try to get a box, but that was when there was lines like out at the building, and so I was like, 100 people sitting in line. I'm like, I'm not standing in line for that. That's it's not worth it. But then I went to Target on Thursday, a couple days ago, and there were packs here and there, some hockey, some baseball, but the Prism Draft Picks basketball, the entire stack was there. Mega boxes, blaster boxes, just tons and tons of it. And I don't know if it's because they have extra so they can keep restocking it, or if it's just that people aren't buying it because they realize,
I think it's just printed more, right? Yeah. So they filled the need of those people. Yeah, Draft Picks kind of does sit, but I do see more product on the shelves from Panini. I'll go to Walmart or Target and I'll see product on the shelves. I think it's more that the people that would stand in line before, they got their fill, and then it's printed just so much, and they're sending so much to these retailers that even the people that stood in line for this stuff don't want that much retail. So they're willing to just let it sit on the shelves or not constantly go back and get it. I don't know what the secondary market is for retail. If people are
still not there for most everything. Yeah. That's why you see everything in the stores, because people, like, they're printing way more of it. So that demand isn't there like it was a couple of years ago. You can't just, if you like, there was stretch of over a year, maybe 2 years, where you walked into any retail outlet and they had cards, you bought them because you could throw them on eBay and make money on them. And those days are gone, and they should be gone. I mean, that was dumb to begin with, but they're printing, obviously that's another sign that they're printing a lot more of it. So, well, we had
before we move on, it always reminds me when we talk about this, we had a acquaintance that used to come into the card shop all the time, and he would go to Target and Walmart at like 6
was
in
an
the morning.
OG with that.
He was an OG, and he would buy toys. And he would take them to like flea markets and sell them for twice what they cost. And when this started happening with all the retail, I turned to Mike and I said, it's like Bumstead is out in the world again and doing this. He started the trend, and I feel like cards really accentuated it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, I'm sick of talking about Panini, and I'm sure you guys are too, and I'm sure everybody's sick of hearing about it. So let's talk in a different direction here. Beckett announced this week a deal with PWCC. where you will now be able to send your cards into the PWCC marketplace. And for $50 a card, you can have a 10-day turnaround time and have them graded by BGS, and they will go for sale right away on the PWCC marketplace. Not really anything we dabble in, but the fine print, the details of the situation that were brought out by multiple videos I saw online were that apparently if the card does not sell, PWCC retains the rights to the card. You lose the card and they take it. I don't know where to go from here.
It seems like a deal. I would not take that deal in any time. I mean, PWCC has a lot of the stuff sells quite a bit. Like they sell quite a bit of stuff, but like that just seems like a really bad contract to sign.
Like seems really absurd. Yeah. I mean,
especially.
Go ahead.
I mean, I was just going to say, especially when everyone else is lowering their prices, does the $50 include the seller? They're still going to charge a selling fee, right? Like, so if a card goes for $1,000, PWCC is going to take more than just the $50, I'm guessing, right? There's probably still going to be some sort of fees on the site.
Don't know. I would think, but I'm not sure on that. Yeah.
Right. Like I feel like it'd be weird to just have a flat fee where, they paid for grading and then they paid. I'm curious. Can I just send my cards to PSA for $18 or SGC for $30 and do it myself? I don't, and not risk losing the card. I mean, to me, I just, and to their credit, PWCC said, we would recommend sending cards that only would have at least a value of like $100. I mean, that's common sense, but I don't think people are really looking and digging into if it's a $75 card and it doesn't sell, well, it's theirs now, or does it go back into the rotation? I really don't know. It seems pretty sketchy.
It might be done to really try to get people to only send in certain types of cards. Like I'm not saying it's a great policy, but sometimes with people that do cards, you kind of have to, give them real incentive to do things the right way.
Right.
And maybe the threat of losing your card will make people not take a chance on a $50 base card that they're hoping to get a BGS 9.5 on or something like that. So might be more as a deterrent to try to scare people off than them actually wanting to take your cards.
And it's smart business by BGS. I mean, they've lost a ton of market share over the last couple of years. And to get any sort of partnership where their slabs will then, not only will they be slabbing cards and get paid for it, but then their slabs will then be back in the public, sphere where PWCC draws a lot of eyeballs. If you see a lot of Beckett slabs on PWCC, it's got to be good for them. People might say, oh, look how expensive this Beckett slab went for on PWCC. Maybe I'll start using Beckett. So I think it's a really smart move by Beckett. And for PWCC, I mean, it's just this one-stop shopping that they can offer now, which I think we talked about it all the way in the first pod. Go back and listen. About how Fanatics, we were kind of, I mean, I was a little bit more than, I was a little concerned, but I think Fanatics wants to do something like that too, kind of like have everything where they have the card, they can do in-house grading, they can do, they can put it into a vault, they can do an auction with it. At a certain point, you get a little nervous of your card being in just one universe where you don't see it anymore, where you don't have any control over how it's sold, where you're sending it in to get it's just, to me, it's just a little too, would make me a little nervous.
Sorry, go ahead, EP.
I was going to say, do we know, have we said how much BGS charges for their grading right now? I don't know what their grading.
I think their lowest is 30, I believe, at the moment.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a little above.
But that's
that.
with no
you
no
definitely
upgrade.
Yeah. You have to
Yeah.
send in a certain card. I think it is it 50 with subgrades or 40?
I think so. I think it's
Yeah,
50 with subgrades.
But yeah, I mean, the whole industry is really kind of moving toward that one-stop shop kind of thing. And I mean, it's one of those weird things because I know none of us are really into that kind of thing, but there are a lot of collectors and investors out there that are. So, you know, it's not geared toward us, but definitely there's a big segment of the hobby that is wanting it, or else all these companies wouldn't be doing it. And you know, that is a transition into our next topic because we're going to talk about PSA because they announced opening their own vault. So now, if you send your cards to PSA, you can have them go right into your vault. And, you know, we've talked about vault stuff before. I know none of us are big on that. But again, there's a segment of the hobby that this is big news for.
I feel like a lot of people, there's a lot of people right now who are moving toward where they would rather have a photo of whatever the thing they own on their phone, and they can show it that way. And that's kind of what it's and I feel like that's kind of what it is. And like they own it, like they can get it if they want to, but if they don't need to, not like us. We don't need to, we need to hold it and look at it and admire it, where they can just look it on their phone and share it with their friends on their phone. And I think that's the kind of person this is geared toward, I think.
Well, you know, I mentioned a couple of pods ago that it almost feels like NFTs with actually something physically backing it up. You know, I don't know. I'm you know, I think we all agree on this. We would rather have the cards in our own possession, but in the current, I'm going to sound like an old man, in the current world, everyone, whatever is on Instagram is real, whatever is on Twitter is real, and people care more about how their card would look on an Instagram post instead of like displaying it on a shelf or putting it in a binder. People love to get the likes, right? So as we're all sitting here on YouTube, feel free to like and comment below. But you know, people really like that stuff. And I think EP brings up a good point. You know, now it's safe. You can't screw up your own card, and you have the ability to show that picture, post that picture. What I will say, it's interesting though. So if you buy a card on eBay from PSA that needs to be authenticated by PSA, you can then choose to have that card at eBay's vault, or you can send a raw card to PSA to have PSA grade and then send it to their vault. Or maybe you want to send it to PWCC and then their vault. And it's like, how many vaults do we need? We're really talking about like diluting the product. I feel like every company is either has a vault or is in partnership with another company that has a vault. It's wild.
Yeah. And you know, we aren't necessarily the market, but if I had a $10,000 card, I might consider putting that in a vault. I don't need a $10,000 card laying around my house. Like, I don't have people over to look at my card. So really, you know, if you're posting the picture of it on social media, that's where we interact. Like even on Twitter, you know, we show pictures of our cards. So yeah, like I don't think functionally it really makes a whole lot of difference. And if you have an expensive card, it's definitely something that you would look into. I think there are also tax benefits to sending them to the vaults too, because I think a lot of them are being set up like in Delaware where they don't have sales tax. So I know you can buy a card, and if you're having it shipped to your vault, you don't pay sales tax on it. So you know, if you're talking about
for a big money
card,
card,
$10,000 card, that makes a big difference. So
EP, keep that in mind.
Yes, definitely, EP. Next time you're looking for your $10,000 card. So moving on to more PSA news, though, they also announced. Nat Turner announced on Twitter that they opened their New Jersey facility, and apparently the first cards that were graded and sent out of there. So, I mean, that was pretty quick, actually. I'm pretty impressed with from the time they announced that they were going to the time it was open. Like they're pretty much a well-oiled machine at this point, don't you think? I know, Joe, you have your own comments, but in this particular case, I think they're really like business-wise, I'm really impressed with what they're able to do and how fast they can do it.
Yeah,
Joe.
I don't. I think the this opening and the $18 deal they're running this month definitely coincide because I mean they have that more capacity and more people and stuff.
Mhm.
Do we think that $18 is going to be a price that sticks around after this initial month deal?
I think it'll go lower. I've
Really?
said all along, I think their goal is to get back down to that
12?
like 12 to 15. I think 12. I do. I've said
They
it all
can't do
along.
that right away though, because then how many people did you just piss off saying, "Get them in now. You have a month, $18 special." Could you imagine if then they came out August 1st and said, we're lowering to $12? People would be through the
Well,
roof.
I mean that happens all the time though.
People would
so,
send in more
yeah.
cards that
Yeah.
they wouldn't be.
Yeah, people
they
would
wouldn't
be
be
through the
upset.
roof
They'd
and then send in more cards.
Yep.
I'm
It's like a
gonna make a
Panini
bold prediction right here though. I think those $18 submissions they have running now are going to be back well ahead of time.
Mhm.
Well ahead of the 150 days. And did you notice too? It's 150 calendar days.
I
They
did
aren't
notice
going
that.
business days too.
Mhm.
So that would put us, I guess, roughly right around the beginning of 2023. But I'm going to make a bold prediction that I think a lot of those cards come back early.
Do you think this is like a test of their capacity, like their
I
ability to
do.
grade?
Yeah. I feel like they have scaled that business so big right now that I think they're really confident because I mean, they've been grading what 1 million cards a month almost.
Yeah.
Like I think that now that they've gotten through the backlog that they really feel like they have the people in place to be able to handle the amount that they're going to have to grade. And I think they're going to be able to do it.
Joe, if it drops to 12 to 15, would you
No.
send any more cards? In?
No.
No.
I went out here and said last week
He's
I'm
going
never
to.
sending to
He
PSA
totally would, yeah.
again.
Totally
No.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
I don't
will.
have cards to send to PSA. Like
You
I look at it this way. For me personally, if I had a raw card worth sending to PSA, I probably bought a Brady rookie raw or something. Like I don't have cards just sitting around that are worth the $12. If I got that Brady and I was sending to PSA, I'd be sending it at the whatever $50 level it is anyway. You know, like so I don't see me scouring my collection for cards. I will say they have to lower the price because look at card values. You can't,
Yeah.
you know, this is for all the companies. And I did pull up BGS. We were close on theirs. It's like 25 for economy with no subgrades or something like that. But they have to lower their prices because at a certain point, hardly anything is going to make sense to send into grade. So while everyone hated the backlog, it was great for PSA because they made a lot of money grading a lot of cards. So if they want to keep that going, they're going to have to lower the price to the point where they'll probably end up getting backlogged again. If they lower it to $10, do you think it's going to get the base card surge that it got 3 years ago? I mean, will Alico 3, who we all love, will he be sending in 500 card orders with 1990 tops traded, you know, rookie cards of stars that, you know, aren't really worth that much?
Yeah. Go ahead, EP.
I feel like that probably is past. Like that, I think that was like a perfect moment in time. A lot of things came together to make it be that thing. Even though a lot of people did it, and there are a lot of people like myself. I have a couple like base cards that I think would be really cool on a slab, but people aren't going to be buying boxes and boxes of 1990 Fleer baseball and just be sending in every card that looks like it's a 10. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that was just a perfect storm.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too. That was what I was going to say because that's already been done. So like if you had a 1990 Hoops Michael Jordan and you sent it in, you got a PSA 10, you had like a pop 5 card at the time. If you were one of the first people to do it, you made a lot of money on that. And then everybody else saw, oh, wow, look what that card's worth. I'm going to send mine in. That's what happened. That's what helped, create the backlog they got in the first place. A lot of it was Pokemon cards too, because people were saying, "Oh, those Pokemon cards I had when I was a kid, they're all worth money now. So I'm going to grab all mine and I'm going to send them all in the PSA." So like the pop totals are way higher on that junk wax stuff and like the Pokemon stuff now, that it's really like, what are you going to do? You're going to send in a Michael Jordan card hoping to get a 10. You could get a 9 before and make your money back, maybe even an 8, to break even. And now you have to get a 10. And with like the 10 not being worth what it was worth back when the backlog was created, I don't think you're going to have anywhere near the number of cards. Like, you're still going to have the newer stuff because it's new, but you're not going to have the bulk of collectors who just got back in. They went through their cards, found stuff, or you opened old stuff and you decided to send it all in. That's not going to happen again.
But I mean, wouldn't that be a bad thing for PSA? I mean, don't they want people to send in cards like that? I mean, if they drop it to $10 to $15, I just can't believe that they would. Oh, we'll just do, not just do new stuff. Obviously, people are going to send in older stuff and things like that. But I mean, at a certain point, you've got to imagine that they think backlogs are great. We'll make a lot of money off of these backlogs. And what's the cost going to be? What's the maximum value of a card at a $10 or $15 level going to be, where maybe it only does make sense to send in some of the lower end stuff that, if it's a $199 value, sure, that might sound a lot to a lot of people. But I mean, there's a lot of cards out there that I'm sure that people wouldn't normally grade for the $20 cost, the $30 cost, the $50 cost, that they're going to start grading at the, if it does drop down to $10. I think there's going to be, it's not going to be as big, but I think there will be a lot of folks sending in some base cards that probably still shouldn't be graded. Who determines what should or shouldn't, but shouldn't be graded. And I think there will be some of that.
There will be some, but I don't think you're going to have the huge influx like you did before. I think, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to handle it, because it like EP said, it was a perfect storm before, with everything going on and people just getting back into it and sending all their cards in. So it's
and pandemic
different
money
now.
and
absolutely,
pandemic, like. And I was gonna say, this price I think is perfect for like Greg Maddux rookie cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people aren't gonna send in every 1987 card they get out of a box that looks like a 10. If they're gonna send in a Greg Maddux rookie card, which isn't worth a ton of money, they're gonna increase the value a little bit, get it slabbed, and for their collection or whatever. But if they get 8 or 9 on it at $10 or $12, it's still gonna be worth sending it in. That's the kind of card I think it's made for. And there are a lot of those kinds of cards out there.
And I think registry. I think a lot of people trying to beef up their registry stuff.
Definitely. Okay, well, the other huge PSA news this week, and I don't want to toot our own horn, but I feel like this was the biggest announcement of the week, was that after 4,733,942 days, Joe finally got his PSA order back. We did the reveal video last night, and you've had some time to reflect on it, Joe. How do you feel today about that?
Much like I felt about Thor: Love and Thunder. It's fine. Sorry,
I heard that was the best movie ever made.
Well, according to EP, it should win all the Academy Awards.
I said the same thing I said for Doctor Strange. I said I enjoyed it.
Okay. Anyway, it was fine. Whatever. That's kind of how I feel about my PSA order. It's just, it was fine. I mean, go and watch the video if you haven't yet, by the way. But the grades were okay. I hit a few 10s. I will say, I looked at some of the cards then, this morning, and I'm comparing the 8 and the 9 and the 10s, and I'm like, I really don't see it, but I'm just one person who has an opinion. Some of the cards I thought were a stretch ended up getting a 10, which I thought was weird. The Captain America one looked pretty off-centered to me, but hey, someone at PSA said it's a 10, so that's cool.
10 is a 10.
Yeah. The football cards I sent in, I was actually, because most of those were sitting in storage for, 15 to 20 years, and those all graded out pretty well. I think I got 9s on most of the football stuff, with the exception of one of the Brady's came back in 8. So the football stuff I was really pleased about. The problem with the Marvel stuff, and we've talked about this in the past, if you don't get a 10, maybe you break even with what your fee was. Luckily, I was only paying about $20 a card with shipping and everything. It's probably like $22. So, hopefully I end up breaking even on some of those 8s and 9s, but we'll see. We'll see how it checks out. Mike, flash my eBay handle across the screen, just right there. No. I mean, I'll try and subtly work Panther 27 into the conversation, but
you won't be able to now. There's no way you'll be able to say Panther 27.
I probably, eBay. You're right. EP, what were you going to say? Panther 27? I mean,
Panther
what were you going to say about
Panther 27? Yeah.
Panther 27.
Yeah. We already talked about that in the past, so we won't talk about Panther 27 again. But yeah, how many 10s did you end up getting then total?
I got 4. I got Punisher, Gray Hulk, 1 Black Panther, which I thought all 3 of the Black Panthers I sent in looked exactly the same, and then Captain America. And am I missing anyone? I think that's right. Punisher, Hulk, Captain America, and Black Panther. And then I did notice, though, the one card that I was like, how did this get an 8? I got nothing below an 8, by the way. But I was like, how did this card get an 8? And I flipped it over, and actually the back centering was really, really bad. I didn't think they would take much consideration into that, but because people don't really talk about it much. But, yeah, it was pretty bad. So at no point, and you can watch the video, at no point was I MF and PSA or just blown away by how terrible the grades were.
Yeah.
Right.
Really
Mike was hoping for a 4 just to get some drama.
I really wanted a 4. I was waiting for that 4, baby.
But yeah, nothing was so bad that I was like, what is going on? PSA doesn't know what they're doing. The yada yada yada. They threw me a couple of bones that I was okay with it.
Okay.
But again, like Thor: Love and Thunder, meh.
Did you get a chance to check the pop report on the Gray Hulk?
I did not. Okay.
All right. Well, that was a long time coming. I'm glad you finally got that order. And
487 days.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that. So I was close. So by the time this podcast drops, it'll only be a couple days away from this year's National. And we will be there. We're going to be there Friday and Saturday, leaving on Sunday. Maybe we'll run into some people there. If you watch our videos and you see us there, don't be afraid to say hi. I know Joe is a huge star now. He will always take time to talk to his fans.
He does charge for autographs.
He does charge for autographs. Yeah, don't ask for autographs, especially if he's eating. Just not a good sight.
No, eating or drinking, get the hell away from me.
But yeah, looking forward to that, and just looking forward to having a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm pumped for the road trip itself. Some things came up this week that I was like worried that I might not be able to go, but everything's been worked out. I will be officially on the road trip with Mike and EP, so I'm really excited about that. And then maybe we'll buy something. I don't know. I know Mike and I will. We'll see if see if that guy does. If that guy down there does.
Yeah. I'm gonna find like a $5 box of some 1990 basketball or something. That's what I'm looking for.
You mentioned you were looking at the floor plan, EP. Was there anything that really jumped out at you?
I mean, nothing major, but I mean, just it looks like the number of like tables that are going to be surrounding like the corporate tables. Like it looks like it's going to be like madness. It looks great.
It will be.
Yeah, and I mean,
there.
all of the grading companies are going to be there. PSA's got their own special place off with at the Whatnot
I'm gonna
Breakers
go say
Lounge. Hi. Yeah, I figured you probably would. You're going to take those cards with you?
Oh yeah, I'll be like, explain this grade to me right now. I need greater notes.
Yeah, those guys making $12 an hour there are really going to care about your cards. Yeah, but it's going to
Yeah.
be a good time. And,
Yep.
we're planning on doing some content from the road on there. Hopefully, we have good Wi-Fi and we'll be able to record some content for our viewers and let them know what we're buying and what we did.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys, that was a good chat. And we'll see you from the National.
Adios.
Catch you later, boys.